Hey guys, welcome to another TFL Buddy review, and behind me we have the brand new 2019 Audi Q3. Think of it as a tall Golf, and in this review we're going to take it around the block. We're going to see how fast it is from 0 to 60, and we're going to rate it to see if you should buy it, rent it, lease it, or forget it. But first we're going to do a little bit of a walk around, and for that I need a buddy. Hey Tommy,
how's it going?
How's it going? You want to show them the engine? I've got the key right here. Let me unlock it.
No, that's the wrong key.
What do you mean? That's the key.
No, it isn't the key. That's our key to our 2004 Volkswagen. This is the right key.
They're identical.
Yeah, super similar.
This is a key from a 2004 Volkswagen. This is a key to the... They do the same thing. Even the buttons, look. Even the buttons.
The placement.
Yeah, is the same. All right, well, why don't you unlock it and show them what's under the hood.
Yeah. Here we have a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with 228 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque, of course mated to an all-wheel drive system. Now this one is the S-Line, which means it looks more quick than a standard Q3, and part of the S-Line package means we've got a more aggressive front end. On the side we've got these big old 20-inch wheels with 255/40 R20 tires, and look at these funny little flares. On the back here you'll notice this incredible color, which is called a Chronos Gray, and of course a power liftgate. So this is a very compact crossover. I have the Monroney here, and although it starts at $36,000, this one is $44,990, and this would compete with something like a BMW X1. But even being a small crossover, we still have a tremendous amount of cargo space back here. Of course, you've got your little privacy cover, and looks like we've got our subwoofer and a temporary spare tire as well. Now let's take it for a ride. Alright, so, well, the cargo capacity in the trunk may be quite impressive, in the rear seat not so much. So I've got Nathan here.
Hey guys.
And he's going to demonstrate the issue with the rear seat legroom. Go ahead and give me a squeeze. Okay, here it comes. Oh, it's still going, huh?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty good. I mean, I got fairly stubby legs.
Okay, yeah, so not so bad. And then if you were to scoot it further back, I'd run out of knee room pretty quickly. But what's the front seat laid up there?
Oh, it's really comfortable. Actually, the seats are beautiful. Very, very nice for a big back. This whole thing here, this whole setup, by the way, I love it. I think it's gorgeous. Here's the funny part. I had my wife in this car the other day. What do you think she said when she looked at this?
Orange is the new black?
No! I was hoping she would. She didn't say that. You know what she said? This looks like it get dirty really easily. I'm thinking, well, this is a really beautiful interior, and the first thing she does, she looks at the suede thing, and she goes, oh, this is going to get dirty.
You know, the interior is very elegant. It's very understated. I think Audi has its mojo back. I mean, I like this big black
This is nice.
screen, right? This isn't the screen, but this is the screen.
Right.
So when you start it up, you get Audi's new entertainment system, and it actually is really easy to use. You know, it's all touch screen. It does some really cool things like click. There's a little bit of a click, so you can tell when you've actually hit something.
It's like a haptic feedback,
yeah,
too.
And then
Just a little bit.
They've got it color coordinated, so for instance the vehicle is red, the phone is blue, so it makes it a little bit easier to understand, and it's actually very intuitive. You can kind of easily figure out what you're doing. The one thing that I don't like about this is they keep moving the volume now.
Oh, this is awesome. I have a theory about this.
Yeah.
Okay, so this whole thing was laid out, and then Klaus said, no, you know what? We're missing something. What are we missing? And they couldn't figure it out, and all of a sudden the other guy goes, Kaliba, we forgot the volume knob. And they're like, hurry, put it in here, now, quickly, before production starts. And this was a last-minute decision, because it looks like a complete, compared to everything else, that's an afterthought.
Yeah, and so does that, the start button. Same,
it's not great.
Yeah, it's not great. Just doesn't. It's just
for
like,
everything, how elegant, how nice this layout is, this is kind of like,
Well, let's take it for a ride and see how it drives. Now, keep in mind, guys, we do have 4 big boys in here. So our 0 to 60 time is going to be probably a little bit slower. We got the Solo DL set up to get that. We've got our little Hula Girl to see what kind of a ride it has. And it does have not 1, not 2, but I believe 3 drive modes.
Well,
actually more than
technically,
that.
though, yeah.
So we've got off-road comfort.
Off-road?
Yep.
Yeah, it has hill descent control on this thing.
Yep. I mean, it is all-wheel drive, right? And once upon a time, Nathan, Audi used to have one kind of all-wheel drive system, right?
Well,
the Quattro system.
Yeah, they perfected the early Quattro systems, and then it changed.
Yeah, so they used to basically make their reputation on having all four wheels get power all the time.
Right.
But now Audi has all different kinds of all-wheel drive systems.
Yeah, depending on the car.
Depending on the car, and so it's hard to keep them all straight. But there's systems, for instance, that are mainly front-wheel drive, that when the wheels slip, it actually sends power to the rear, and that's done for fuel economy. And speaking of fuel economy, Tommy, what kind of a fuel economy do we have?
Yeah, according to the EPA, this 2-liter equipped Q3 will do 22 mpg combined, 19 city and 27 highway.
For a small car that's not spectacular, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, turbos are thirsty, and when you get into them,
And all-wheel drive.
and all-wheel drive, it does get thirsty. But I think this car is going to be a hit, Nathan. I think.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you. This is one of my favorite Audis. Actually, in the past 5 years or so. I mean, I really like the Q7 and the Q8 and all that. But this car, it's fun. It's fun to look at, it's fun to be in, and it's fun to drive.
Yeah, and there is no secret, guys, that Audi sales have kind of fallen off a cliff recently. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking, why are Audi sales down so much? And we're talking, you know, double digits. We're not talking like 1 or 2%. We're talking serious decline in their sales. And I think I've figured it out, Nathan. You know why it is?
Tell me why.
I think the same people that buy Audis are now the people that are buying Teslas. And I think Tesla is cutting into Audi sales, right? Kind of hip, youthful, looking for the newest technology, looking for style, looking for the coolness factor. And Audi, for the longest time, embodied cool. And it's really hard to be cool because, you know, the second you identify something as being cool, something else becomes cool.
I think it's a very in-depth, almost forensic way of looking at it. I disagree. I think it's just that their cars look kind of old and people are a little sick of them, and they're finally refreshing them and making them look cool. I think that's part of it. But the Tesla point of view, because I mean we hate Teslas, I absolutely agree about one thing. Electric cars in general will be the cool thing in the near future, and Audi does have stuff coming and kind of sort of here, but they really need to push that envelope too.
So we've got the 0 to 60 coming. Dad, do you want to put it in dynamic or in comfort right now?
Yeah, I'll put it in dynamic. There we go. I'm in dynamic.
Okay, and then you gotta stop.
I'm merging onto the highway.
Coming out of the
I'm
highway.
gonna stop here. Let the soul DL reset. Keeping my. We got 4 people. I'm floored. That's floored.
It's pretty good.
For about 900 and change worth of human being in this car.
There's 60. 9.25, guys.
We're pushing maximum load in this car. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, guys, we're over a mile above sea level. So even with turbocharging, you still have a little bit of power loss.
So one of the detriments to having these big 20-inch wheels, which, by the way, are a $800 option with summer performance tires, is you do get a considerable amount of road noise kind of at highway speeds. So do you mind handing me this little probe here? Let's see what kind of...
I never want to hear your son say that again.
Yikes.
Ever.
See what kind of noise we're getting. Well, that's actually pretty good. So 62, 63 at 55 miles an hour isn't too bad. How's the highway comfort?
You know, it's very comfortable. I just put it back in comfort mode so that when we go over the bad road, we've got the most compliant suspension.
So is there a suspension setup to where the shocks are adjustable in this car?
No, I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
When
I think it's throttle response and stuff.
Yeah, when you change different modes, it'll adjust. So it's got the electromechanical steering. It'll change the steering weight.
Yeah.
It'll change the throttle response and the shift points.
So when I had it in comfort mode, I noticed a lot of lag. You know, I put my foot down and there'd be almost a full second, between that and hitting the turbo. And then you put it in dynamic mode, and boom, you're right off.
Look, there's our cousin, the Golf R, right in front of us.
Are they related?
Yes, they're built on the same, related.
Similar platform.
Yes, exactly. All right, shall we try the Snarfs test?
Yep, try the Snarfs test.
Here we go.
Here we go. Let's see if we can find the Snarfs test. All right. Find Snarfs.
Searching for Snarfs nearby. Please choose a line number or provide additional search terms.
That's freaking awesome.
It found it. Look at that. Snarf sandwiches.
And you were deliberately vague, because you always are, and it knew immediately what you were talking about.
Yeah.
It knew immediately. It must be that kind of dramatic thing of your Eastern European lineage that helped. But the point is that is one of the best setups I've seen for finding something so vague. I mean, Tommy, he didn't even say navigation or anything else.
No,
he just went right to his find Snarfs.
Yeah, unlike, let's say, Mercedes, Audi doesn't have kind of the Siri model where this is connected to the internet. It's not always listening to you. So MBUX, which is new Mercedes system, basically always listens to you. And when you say, hey, Mercedes, it answers and then uses the cloud to answer your questions. Here, this is a more traditional method where you push the button, but it works. You know, they say it's much more intuitive, much more natural. We've heard that so many times, but this time we can actually say it worked.
Speaking of working, let's see how this thing works over the difficult pavement. This stuff here.
The hula girl.
Go girl.
Yeah, let's see how she's dancing.
The more she dances, the higher the score?
Yep, exactly. So the less she dances, the better. Yep. Yeah. So I say she's not dancing that much.
She's moving a bit.
A little bit. All right, so what do you give it, Tommy? Out of a 1 to 10, 1 being like great and 10 being horrible.
I'm going to give her actually a 6. I think the suspension, especially with these big wheels, you know, the ride comfort's pretty firm, which makes it fun to drive, but over really rough terrain, like you certainly feel it coming to the cabin.
Those big wheels definitely make a difference, don't they?
Yeah, how about you, Nathan?
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you, Tommy, about a 6. I think that perhaps with smaller wheels, a little bit more rubber, so not as, you know, a little bit more cushion, it would help a little bit. It's not bad. I don't mind it because I know this is a sporty car.
You know, there's like 2 different kinds of motion, right? There's a vertical, which kind of transmits any kind of road imperfection, and there's kind of the pitch and roll. And I think vertically it did really well, but the pitch and roll, I felt like it was really kind of bouncing us around, kind of like we were almost off-road. So I'm there with you guys. I think it's about a 6.
All right. Well, we're in agreement about that.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about what's happening right now in terms of new infotainment system. This has a configurable screen right here in the center of the dashboard.
I love that.
Yeah, it's 10.25 inches.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And me and Tommy were driving this the other day, and we were talking about the fact that we think that actually these configurable screens, right, which are basically digital analog screens, might be less expensive than the traditional, you know, analog version of this.
Well, perhaps in mass. I don't know what you do. How do you come to that conclusion?
Well, I mean, they're all digital, right? So I mean, instead of having you know cables and sensors that have to run to physical gauges, it's just an LCD screen, right? So in theory, you could just plug that into the computer, the car's computer, and get all the readout directly from the car instead of having to run like you know, like I don't know, an old school speedometer cable.
I think that with a sophisticated enough car that already has the electronics behind it, absolutely, that makes total sense. A little cheap car, and then I don't think that's...
So Tommy was saying he thinks they're cheaper than the analog gauges, right? And then I was saying, I was talking to Ford once, and I asked about that. I said, how much are these kinds of gauges? And Ford said something interesting. They said that these have to work, unlike, like, let's say your television, right, which can be an LCD screen, right?
Right.
It's usually at your house, which is usually the comfortable temperature, whereas these have to work when it's super cold.
And super hot, right?
And super hot. Yeah. Plus they have to last the life of the car, hopefully, right? So we're not talking about, you know, replacing a TV in 10 years. You're probably looking at more of a 20-year life cycle or longer.
Sure. And they have to put up with being hit, you know, by an angry old man who's trying to find directions. And bang, 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 you know, damn it.
So what they're saying is that they are expensive. So that was the best I could get. So I don't know. Once again, it could be that they're more expensive than the old analog, or it could be that they're cheaper. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. All right, boys, make up your mind. We're going to get out of the car. We're going to rate it on the TFL buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it scale. So I'm curious to see what you guys think. At $36,000, it's just about $2,000 less than the average price of a car in America now, which is $38,000. But as tested, we're at what, Tommy? You said 44?
Yeah, 44,990. But I mean, check this out. We've got, of course, you know, the Alcantara interior package. We have the Bang & Olufsen sound system, Navigation Plus, 20-inch wheels, sport interior package. So it's pretty loaded.
Yeah, this giant moonroof as well, which is quite nice for such a small car.
Panoramic is awesome.
Panoramic.
All right, guys, on the TFL scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, I'm going to give it a buy it. I like that car a lot. It's just perfect color. I love orange, and orange is the new black.
Can I give it 2 scores?
Sure.
Okay, my wife and I both want to buy it, but I can't afford it.
So what do you say?
2 bites.
2 bites, okay.
2 bites. And I actually also give it a buy it. I think it looks better than the X1 and the GLA. I think the interior is better designed, and actually some of the materials feel better screwed together inside as well. So that's 3 or 4 resounding buy its.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, guys. Audi is back in business, at least with the Q3. As always, check out TFLcar.com for more news, views, and of course, buddy reviews. See you guys next time. Ciao.
See ya.